r/AskReddit. What is your wholesome little secret? Redditor commented, my uncle is a truly fantastic guy. He's the sort of dude that would give you the shirt off his back without a second thought. He's the only truly kind and generous person I've ever met. He took me in twice when me and my parents were having problems. Once for 2 weeks, once for a full year. He's always been who I go to for advice, because I genuinely want to be just like him. Last year he collapsed in the kitchen. I was there when it happened. That was the start to a seemingly unending battle with his health. He's had to quit his job, and it's put him into some intense financial distress. He would never accept help from anyone. I asked my aunt if I could help pay their bills. It took a while, but eventually she agreed. He has no idea my husband and I give them several $100s a month. Redditor replied, unconditional love is the most beautiful thing on the world. Hope your uncle gets better, have a nice day. Redditor commented, I let people tell me the same story multiple times and act like it's my first time hearing it. Redditor replied, I do this as well, but my God, does it get tiresome when they also blatantly lie in said stories. Redditor A added, my favorite is when they start telling me my own story like it happened to them, can't help but laugh, but at least I know not to trust a word that comes out of their mouths anymore. Redditor B added, the weird thing about memory is that it's fallible and sometimes our brains appropriate events as having happened to us when in fact it didn't. However, our brain believes it to be. I have a brother that does this. It used to drive me crazy because even when I pointed it out he refused to believe otherwise. But it got me to thinking, what if I'm wrong? I mean, he believes it was him. I believe it was me. What if it's actually my brain that believes incorrectly since we both believe it to be our past experience? That's when I decided it didn't matter. One of us was wrong, but who? It's in the past anyway, so it can't be changed or even verified, so why bother trying? This has helped me move on from many traumatizing or even embarrassing moments because in the end the past doesn't really matter except in how it shapes us. Of course I believe in accountability for harm done, but the little things I don't sweat much. And it's worth forgiving your friend her false memories. If they matter to you, that is. Redditor commented, at the beginning of our relationship, I noticed that when we shared chicken wings, my girlfriend preferred the wingettes, or flats. So I always reached for the drumettes whenever we ordered wings. My girlfriend thinks I like the drumettes better, while actually, I too prefer wingettes. This is a secret I will never tell her, because she would feel bad about it. Redditor replied, I think my girlfriend is doing something similar to me. Every time we order Chinese food I ask if she wants an egg roll and she says yes. Then later she tells me she doesn't want it and gives it to me. I think she knows I love egg rolls but don't want to be a glutton and order 2 for myself. Redditor commented, I stick a $20 or a couple $20s in an inside jacket pocket or zip-up pocket when either of my adult nieces are at a family member's house visiting, without them noticing. I've always found it nice finding money you forgot you had now and then, and I'm sure they do as well. Redditor commented, found out an ex-girlfriend was in a really bad way. Had just fled an abusive boyfriend and was living in an apartment with nothing but a desk chair she slept in and apparently usually just put towels on the floor and slept there. Was going to be months till she could save enough to afford a couch or bed. I could afford it, so I took a bunch of cash out of the bank, went and bought her a bed and had it anonymously delivered. She deserved better than the hand she was dealt. Redditor commented, my niece hasn't got a very nice mother. Since she was born I have been anticipating the day she starts realizing what kind of person her mom is and begins to turn her back on her. Sad, but inevitable. She is only 5 now, and since she could walk and talk I have seen many occasions where she will be genuinely sad and crying and needing comforting from her mom, who will physically push her away and say, no, go away. There are countless other issues. My little secret is every time I see my niece, even if it's been months between visits or only a day, I always greet her and always say her the same thing, I missed you. I love you. Tell me about your day. I hope that when she's older and if she needs family, she can see me and know that she is cared about and can talk to me about anything. Redditor replied, I have 2 of those. My cousin's kids, but they call me aunt. She's too worried about her own shit and she favors the little one over the big one. They're 2 and 5, and it's so obvious. We've taken the girls in while my cousin is chasing down dick and drugs, but the girls don't know it's probably gonna be permanent. So, I'm getting the girls involved in their life. I come home with change in my pocket and they put it in a bucket we have. They're getting piggy banks with $2 bills in them for Christmas. I'll give them singles for chores and really good days to put in their banks, and then we'll put it in the actual bank in savings accounts. Their banks will be their spending money and the rest is for us to pay for. They're working on fixing behavior their mom let them develop, like the 5 telling adults no when she's told lunch is done or it's nap time. All the money they're helping me put up is going for a Disney surprise vacation in about 2 or 3 years. A few adults know, but the kids have no idea they're helping me save so I can take them on a trip their mom never could. Redditor commented, when my husband is in the shower, I often toss his towel into the dryer so that it's nice and warm when he grabs it. I'm not sure he even realizes that I do it. Redditor replied, I did this for my ex a few times and it made her whole day. Redditor commented, I stay after work sometimes an extra 10 to 30 minutes to just hang out with my boss. He thinks it's cause he gives me a beer and I got nothing better to do, but I do it because he's a sad guy at heart with a lot of pain in him. I try to keep him company because we've developed a sort of father-son relationship and I don't want him to feel lonely. I poke fun at him and try to make him laugh so maybe he feels a bit better. Bastard doesn't deserve it, but I do it anyways. Redditor responded, man, this is great. I was in this same position. While everyone else might give them shit, you have to realize at the end of the day they are human, and in my case he had bad depression. Good for you, man. Redditor commented, currently secretly making breakfast for my sleepy girlfriend. Short-lived secret, but still wholesome, I think. Redditor commented, I pay for multiple cups of coffee at the gas station and tell the cashier to give them to the next customers buying coffee. I also bring those cashiers homemade Danish on Christmas. Redditor replied, you are a saint. It may only be $1 for a coffee, but you'll make someone's day by doing it. Redditor commented, the 8th grade where I work goes on a 3-day, 2-night overnight trip each year in June. It costs a few $100s. One of my students brought in the permission slip, which was actually signed, but no down payment. Emails to the parents were not answered, phone calls went to voicemail and were not returned. The teacher in charge told the kid that if the down payment was not in by X date, the kid would not be able to go. The kid was really upset, and said his parents told him there was no money for the trip. This was a family that did have some money problems, but the school is usually very good about working with families if they notify us of these kinds of issues. This trip was a trip virtually every kid went on. To be left out would have been awful for him. I paid his full costs with telling him. Redditor replied, when I was in high school, someone anonymously paid for my senior trip. They even included a little pocket money. I have great memories of that trip, and there's no way I could have gone without their generosity. I paid it forward and have sponsored several kids in the years since then. Redditor commented, I'm saving money to take my boyfriend on a vacation. It was going to be for this birthday, but I've had sudden financial issues come up, so at this point it's looking more like the next one. Redditor replied, just make sure it's not too big of a surprise. Some people enjoy it, and some get stressed out over the not knowing. I have a friend who went on a surprise honeymoon with her husband. Worked for them, because he gave her the length, climate, and other minor details so she knew how to pack. But she's also a go-with-the-flow type person, so it worked for them. Redditor commented, my mother hates it when she's unaware of me recording her doing random things around the house or clicking photos of her when she thinks she's not looking good. She has beaten cancer twice while managing a job, dealing with a husband who had to tour a lot for work, and raising me practically single-handedly. I had a horrible relationship with her because I was a very difficult kid growing up, and we've bonded so much over the past few years. I always feel like I missed out on knowing her when I was smaller. I've never told her this, but I keep these recordings of her because I want to have these everyday moments of hers preserved with me forever. Redditor commented, I bring food to shelter cats, dogs and play with them. Win-win situation really, even though my own cats give me the stink eye when I come home with shelter smell on me. Redditor commented, my 15-year-old little sister has a small book review blog she's really proud of. I use a VPN to make it look like there are people all over the world that read her blog. I comment in other languages sometimes too. She's working on her Spanish and French to respond in simple phrases. Redditor commented, sometimes I like to clear my head walking through beautiful cemeteries. I try to spend extra time near sites that don't seem to be recently visited, so those ghosts don't feel lonely. But I also like looking at the flowers and other mementos left by loved ones and imagining that person's life while they were alive. Redditor responded, my dad's grave is in a different city and no family members live there anymore. It made me sad to see this post and think of his grave looking abandoned. Especially when I think of him every single day of my life. Interesting hobby you have though. Kind of intrigues me. Redditor commented, sometimes when I walked alone in the fields, I always visited some cows. They are always curious and when they are close enough I pet them. Redditor commented, I send my friends' boyfriends messages telling them about my friends' dream gifts, dates just so I know they get treated the way they wish they did and they deserve. Redditor replied, you are the holographic Mewtwo of friends. Redditor commented, when I was a little girl there was an elderly black woman who lived alone down the road. One day I saw her digging through the garbage behind a diner and saw she was collecting food. I felt so sad for her that every day after that I would leave my lunch sack and my milk money on her porch. On days I didn't have school I would get up before anyone and make sandwich or something for her and drop it off. I did that for 4 years, the last time not knowing she had died in her sleep the night before. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video please like and subscribe for more.